Hello everyone, it's me, and in the previous video we spoke very briefly about deal sourcing and how it works and who it works best for, and today I thought I'd go over it in more detail for you guys. So I just want to go over a quick rundown of what was done in the last video. We spoke about who it's good for, and that's what I'm going to go over again. So who is deal sourcing actually good for? Now when I say deal sourcing, I mean being the person who finds the deals and sells them to investors. That is good for somebody who wants to get into property but simply doesn't have the capital for it. For example, if you want to get into rent to rent but you don't have that 5 to 7k saved up and you're looking for a way to save it up without sort of just working a job that you want to speed up because you understand that this model is like a really good opportunity and it's best to get in as early as possible. If that is you, deal sourcing is perfect for you. You build your investors list, you speak to landlords, you go on viewings, you gain so much experience, and on top of that you're gaining capital. And then once you have that 5 to 7k ready, you literally have a list of landlords who you've spoken to. So it's just so much easier for you to actually start renting your own properties as soon as you have the capital, yeah? Now, why does it actually work? There's two reasons why it works. The first people that are looking to purchase deals are the people with money but no time. If you have money but no time, you don't have time to speak to landlords, you don't have time to go on viewings, you don't really have time to go to different estate agencies, like you simply don't have time, but you have a lot of money and you want to make that money work for you. They're the type of people who purchase a deal, and they're very common as well. And the second type of people that are looking to buy a deal are the people who have tried to speak to landlords and they've tried to go on viewings, but they've just found that it doesn't work for them, whether it be simply because they're just not as good speakers and they've tried and they've been rejected multiple times, and then they've found that they're just bored of being rejected and they'd rather just buy a deal, like just to save from that stress and just for their own convenience. They're the two type of people who would purchase a deal, and they do exist and they are looking for deals every single day. So you are missing out by not having deals for them to purchase every single day. So now I'm going to go over in more details how it actually works. So there are two steps in deal sourcing. That's it. There's finding deals and there's finding investors. They're the main two steps. What I would recommend, there's very different sort of ways to look at it, but me personally, I recommend finding investors first. Now, you may be thinking, how on earth do I find investors? Well, perfect, you clicked on this video because I'm going to tell you exactly that. So the way you find investors is through social media. That is the single-handedly the best way to find investors. Don't listen to what anyone else says. Social media is incredible at finding investors. You can post a video, and if, for example, 500 people see it, that's 500 potential investors who have just seen a 1-minute video that you posted, and it even takes about a minute to film and a minute to post. So that's where the power of social media in a game like this, in a numbers game, is insane. So make sure you use social media. What social media should you use? The best ones I'd recommend are Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Instagram. If you're looking to build an investors list, you need to make sure that everybody knows that you are a deal sourcer, because you could have the best deal in the world. You could have a deal where someone invests 1,000 and they make a 2,000 back every single month. But if nobody knows you have that deal, you will never ever sell that deal. Simple as. So you need to let people know what you do. And the way you do this is by posting on social media. And on top of that, I would definitely recommend showing your face as well. It builds trust. I don't know about you, but I would never purchase a deal from someone who I've never spoken to or from someone whose face I've never seen. That's just me. And there's also a bonus tip to people who are looking to purchase deals. Don't trust sources who don't show their face. Like, simple as, just stay far away from them. And if they're not willing to get on a phone call with you, again, stay far away from them. So that's what I would do to get investors. I would post on social media, let people know I have deals, go through Facebook groups, let it be known on your LinkedIn, make TikToks, make Instagram posts about it, and say that you are a deal sourcer and you have multiple deals coming in different parts of the city. Then once you have a few people who are interested, there's two ways you can go about it as well. You can either make a big group chat and then just post your deals every single day, which can sort of show the competition, for example. So if you post a Birmingham deal and you have two people who are interested and they both reply to that sort of message, for example, let's say it's a WhatsApp group chat, and they both reply to that message, what will happen is it will create a competition between them two. So they look to basically go ahead with it as like sooner than the other one. So that is why that is a good idea. Another thing you can do is simply just build a list and message them all personally. Like, Depends how organized you are. If you're good at organizing yourself and you're a well organized person, then I would recommend just building out a list. If you find that you're not so good at like keeping yourself organized, I'd simply recommend just making a big group chat and then posting your deals there. So that is how you get investors. Once you have investors, now you need deals, or you have a bunch of people who are going to hate you. How do you get deals? It's the same way with rent to rent, exactly the same thing. You go through estate agents or you go directly to landlords. They're basically the main two ways that you can get deals. And then once you've sort of gone through the whole process where you've spoken to them and they said they are open to the idea of a company let, then you run your numbers and you go for a viewing. So for example, let's just say there was a property in Birmingham city centre and the landlords agreed to it. They've agreed to the idea of a company that they're very open to it. You would then run the numbers the same way you do like with a rent to rent deal, the exact same way. You'd run the numbers and then you'd go on that viewing. When you're at the property and you find that it looks nice, there's no big problems with it. For example, like it's freshly painted, the carpets have all been done, the boiler's having no issues, and you like the property, only sell a deal that you would take on yourself. That's one thing as well that I'd say. Only sell a deal that you would take on yourself if you had the capital. So if you go to the property and you find that, you know what, I really do like this property, that's when you should sell it, because that's what makes a good sourcer. If not, you're going to ruin your reputation in the sourcing world, and then you're never going to sell another deal. You might sell one, but you won't sell two. So once you go on that viewing and you run your numbers and you like it, you let the landlord know that you have a pool of investors who you're looking to promote this deal to. Most of the time, they'll say, yeah, that's completely fine. The only thing they would ask is to meet the investor before the investor takes it on. And that's not a problem at all. You say, yeah, I'll sort of give the idea to the investor that they will have to go on a viewing before taking on the property. And most investors, literally when I say most, 99% of investors will want to go on a viewing before taking on the property. And that's just understandable. So once you're happy with the property and you've run your numbers and you're happy with the numbers, then you need to package your deal. And what this means is the first thing you want to show in your deal packaging, so this is literally just a template that you write out that you're going to put on the group, so you're going to put on social media. And what it needs to include, there's three main things. The first thing it needs to include is like the location stuff. So that just means the location, just the postcode though, and potentially the road. You don't want to give too much away because you don't want to give the full address so someone can just swoop in and take that deal. That's what you don't really want. And you also want to mention sort of positives, if that makes sense. For example, if the property was in Liverpool and it's near Anfield, you would mention that when packaging the deal. You would say property in L whatever near Anfield, or this many feet away from Anfield. It's the same as it being near the city centre, the railway station, anything like that you want to mention in the template. You want to sell the deal as much as possible, right? And then the next thing you want to sort of mention is the profit at different occupancies. You want to mention the profit at 50%, which shouldn't be a lot, but it should be above break even. You want to mention the profit at 70% because that is the national average, and you also want to mention the profit at 100%. So the last thing as well you want to mention in the template is the average expected occupancy for that specific area. That is very, very important when someone else is looking at the deal and they want to basically expect what they're going to make. That is very, very important. So make sure you do make that known. And then once you have that deal and you post it on all your social medias and you spark some interest, we'll say, for example, someone in the group likes it, they'll message you. There's two ways you can go about this. Again, if you trust the person and say you've spoken to them over the phone, maybe over a Zoom meeting, and you do trust them, then what you may want to do is not have a commitment fee. But if you don't trust them, for example, if you don't know them and they've just popped up to you and you've never called them, they're not open for a phone call, what you would want to do is make them sign a commitment fee and pay that. This can be something like £500. And all this means is that you're protected legally for the person goes to the landlord and tries to skip you. That's what that means. If they pay that £500, which basically says, you paying £500, I'll give you the full address, you get all the pictures, you can go on the viewing. That's someone that you don't trust as much. That shouldn't be done, to be honest. Like, you should have enough trust with the person that's going to buy your deal, whether that be through a Zoom call, a few phone calls, or just like general back and forth messaging. You should be trusting that person. You don't want to sell a deal to anyone that you don't trust. And then once they go on that viewing, that's the main thing that you want to get organized. You want to get organized a viewing with them and the landlord. So one, they can meet the landlord. Two, they can see the property like itself, and they can see it for themselves, and they can have a plan of what they're going to do with it. They can gauge the area and stuff like that. Like, that's why a viewing is very, very important when it comes to deal sourcing. So they're going to go on that viewing, and if they're happy with it, if they've paid the £500 and they're happy with it, you just take the remaining 2,500 for that 3,000 deal sourcing fee. If they're not happy with it but they've paid the £500, you simply return the £500 and you find someone else. That's it. If they haven't paid the £500, then you take the 3,000 fee, and then the contract is signed between them and the landlord, and then the keys are collected. However, if they are not happy with it but they haven't paid the £500 fee, then you just shake hands and on to the next. Like, that's it. That's the best thing about deal sourcing. You're not losing much money once you find a deal. So yeah, if they're happy with it, they sign the contracts, you get that £3,000, you get that £3,000 fee. Like, that's an average amount per deal, and then on top of that, they get keys in hand. Make sure they send you pictures of keys in hand so you can build up a list of people that you've actually helped. It just builds more proof. You want to be known as a reliable deal sourcer. Deal sourcing has a big stigma for people who either, one, don't know what they're doing, two, are going to try scam you. So make sure you're as trustworthy as possible. Show your face, make content, and have testimonials. They're the three ways that you're going to guarantee that someone is going to come across you and be like, you know what, I'll give this person a go, because they probably are good at what they do. So that is it for deal sourcing. If you are looking for deals, then feel free to sort of message me or my brother on Instagram. My Instagrams are here. Message any one of us on Instagram. We can look to help you with that. If you're looking to start deal sourcing, there is a call link in the description. Feel free to book that and have a chat with us about how you can get started yourself. So that is it for deal sourcing. If you've got any questions or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comments. Please do subscribe. It means a lot to us, and we will see you in the next video.